fans make it possible, and we have the data to prove it. Welcome to Fan Study, an ongoing exploration into fandom on Spotify. Across each category, we'll analyze millions of data points and uncover insight to help you develop the fan base you need to reach your goal. You know what I find interesting is something that I've been finding very interesting in these few years. It's that when it comes to give me a second. Yeah. Better. All right. When it comes to the streaming business, I'm realizing that a lot of people are lost. And you know what they lost is because of understanding the market and what you have to do in the marketplace. They keep thinking and listening to their dreams. And it's something that I've been realizing every time I have a little bit of consulting with artists, and they explain to me what they want to do, how they want to do, how they're going to do it, etc. I realize that most artists are trying to arrive in the music business and to succeed in the music business using strategies for 2010. But in 2025, all this doesn't work at all, because the world has nothing to do with how it was back in 2025. It's a completely different world with completely different rules and completely different platforms. I plan to do a show where I will explain to artists like how you make money as an artist in 2025, 2026 even. Because a lot of people, they believe that to make money, you have to do the things that you used to do back then. Some people are still acting as if they're going to sell CDs when the stores where you buy CDs don't exist anymore. What you have to do is take your time and read what the platform is telling you. This is the place where, I don't know, 60-70% of the streaming is made. And if they explain to you how it works, maybe you should stop thinking of how you want it to work and go more like, all right, that's how it works. Let's go. Let's use the platform the way it's intended, and let's see if we can have success in it. And let's even see if we can be creative in strategies and make it even work better. Anyway, all right. New releases, Spotify playlist, fan connection, merch, and live global trends. All right, listen, let's read. Let's check this. Let's check this, and let's see if we can check everything. Explore new releases. All right, new releases. Think of your next release as a launchpad. It's your moment to re-engage loyal fans, reach new ones, and re-engage listeners with your full catalog. Make release week count and set your music up to break through from day one. All right, the first thing you need to understand, when on Friday, which is the day when you release music, on Fridays, there's 150,000 new songs. That's the first thing you need to understand. It's just like on Instagram. Back in the days, you would post and people would follow you because you were famous, and then your post would matter. Now, when you post, the people who should be your clientele, they post as well. because they also take photos of their food, of their friends, and everybody is a content creator. From the famous ones to the not famous one, everybody is competing for the same space, which is time, a time of attention. There's 24 hours in the day, and everybody's competing for a little spot in your 24 hours. Listen to my song, watch my post, watch my TikTok video, etc., etc. And that's the way. That's the market you're trying to reach now. When back in my days, what you were trying to do was to make people go leave their house and buy a CD. Today has nothing to do. All right. 1, releasing new music can give fans a reason to dive deeper into your catalog. On average, streams of past release jump 15 to 20% when new music drops. Interesting. So me, I release every week. So every week, it pumps a little bit of my whole catalog, which is interesting. So prepare your next release for success by taking full advantage of Spotify for Artists' new release tools. Yeah, I do this all the time. Oh, then it takes you to other places. Countdown, blah, 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 blah. Now, I'm not going to go deeper than that. You can go check the fan study yourself. All right. Number 2, when it comes to driving pre-saves, the right preparation is key. On average, artists who publish a countdown page at least 7 days before an album release nearly double their pre-save. That's true. That's not all. Those who release a single ahead of their album with a countdown page see twice as many pre-sales for the album as those who don't. Oh, interesting. How does it work? Because you can do a countdown only when you have an album. I didn't know you could do for a single. I have to check that out. 3, traffic to your profile spikes on release day. Of course. Yeah. Okay. Artist profile gets 77% more visit when music drops. But that's not all. Other Spotify services get a boost too. All right. Cool. When fans save your release, they listen significantly more. Yeah, of course. All right. Releasing new music can supercharge your fan base. Some of your listeners are diehard fans in the making. After releasing new music, on average, artists saw the number of super listeners, the most loyal segment of their total audience, jump more than 18%. Which is why I release every week, because then I'm always stimulating the algorithm. That's something I've been telling you for years now. Release week is the starting point, not the finish line. That's true. First week matters, but it's not everything. Most streams happen later, not on day one. In fact, 70% of a release first year streams come after the first month. All right. Let's go to Spotify playlists. Programming on Spotify, all playlists and listening session based on editorial and personalized recommendation, blend human curation with machine learning and deep artist fan connection. Dig in how these playlists spark discovery and fuel fandom. Spotify playlists are where your new fans find you. Yes. You could just be one playlist away from reaching your next biggest fan. I reach it. In fact, more than half of new artist discovery on Spotify happen in program playlists. The issue is getting there, with over a quarter coming from Spotify mixes, radio, and autoplay. Editorial playlists can ignite monthly active audience growth. All right, Piano Groove. I've been in this one before. New Music Friday, I'm there all the time. I'm on New Music Friday Portugal a lot. Interesting. You don't have to be a playlist powerhouse to see significant audience growth. Artists added to editorial playlist for the first time ever in 2023 saw big spikes in their monthly active listeners after a 30-day period. That's why you have to do pitching. Spotify playlists can carry your music across borders. That's true. Tens of millions of new artist discovery happen on Fresh Finds. In 2025, Fresh Finds drove over 65 million new artist discoveries. In fact, over 70% of all streams via Fresh Finds playlists represented listeners streaming an artist for the very first time on Spotify. The issue is with more and more and more and more music coming in those platforms, it becomes harder and harder and harder to be in these playlists. That's the issue. And now that people are releasing AI music, it's even worse. But I understand what they say. Fan connection. Your music sparks the connection, but it's the world you build around it that keeps the fan coming back. From visual to storytelling, learn how listeners go deep with their favorite artists on Spotify and how that leads to bigger and more loyal fans. Super listeners aren't just for superstar. True. I think 10% of my listeners are super listeners. Super listeners, I think it's the people who listen to your music like every day. Like in 7 days, they will listen to your music at least one time every day. Super listeners are the most loyal segment of your monthly active listeners. Average across all artist sizes, they make up just 2% of an artist's monthly listeners, but they drive over 18% of monthly streams. Okay, that's what I meant. Canvas drive more saves and playlist ads. Interesting. I should do more Canvas. Adding new visuals to your track give fans new reason to share. What you mean new visual? Updating a track's visual can ignite new fan engagement. On average, refreshing a Canva boost of platform shares by more than 10% and impact even is stronger in certain genres. Interesting. Fans who playlist your music keep coming back for more. After listeners add you to a personal playlist, on average, they stream 41% more and look at your profile 12% more. In fact, 60% of all merch purchased from Spotify profile come from listeners who have playlisted the artist. Interesting. All right, let's go to global trends. Fans are constantly reshaping how music travel, fueling trends around the world, bringing new artists into the spotlight, and building communities across borders. Explore or tapping into these shifts can open new doors for music. International collabs can take your music global. That's true. Working with an artist from another country just doesn't just broaden your perspective, it can broaden your international reach in a big way. In fact, almost 80% of stream on international collaboration come from outside of the main artist's country versus under 60% for single artist tracks. New fans come from far and wide to find you. While you might think that most new fans come from nearby, our data tells us a very different story. On average, 66% of new artist discovery happen outside an artist's home country. And once they find you, they engage like crazy. Fans know that great music can come from anywhere. That's true. Fandom is borderless. Yup, internet on average. Global listeners stream artists from 14 different countries every month. For listeners in Europe, that number jumps to 16 countries per month. Fans put a world of artists on the chart. Between 2017 and 2021, the share of tracks on Spotify Global Weekly Top Song Chart from outside North America and Europe more than doubled. Okay, the share of tracks on Spotify Global Weekly Top Song Chart from outside North America and Europe more than doubled. Okay. Want more super listeners? Europe is packed with them. Interesting. What you mean? Based on behavior of super listeners of at least one artist across Spotify top 50 markets, as of June 2025, include artists with over 10,000 monthly listeners at any point in 2024 and at least 10 tracks as of January 2025. Interesting. I would use all this to strategize my release of music differently. If you understand that whenever you release something, you must have your catalog ready to stream. Like, I was talking to a DJ friend and I was telling him, bro, you have 5 different profiles on Spotify. You have your official one with your name, and then you have other releases that you did where your name were not spelled right, other than before you change your name to a simple thing. Some you had DJ in front, some you have DJ wrote DJ, some you have DEEJAY, some you have just your name, some you have. And I was like, yo, you have to make sure that all this is concentrated under one profile, so that when you release a song and somebody likes that song, usually what they do is they go to your profile to see what else you have. If you go to my Spotify profile, I have a ton of stuff to listen to. So yeah, you should listen to this. You should check that. Listen, do I have the link? Let me put the link in. I'll put the link in the chat for you guys to watch if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, I'll put it in the description. All right.